What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sports Talk with Hawk. I am Hawk, and today we close out the AFC North as we head into a beautiful weekend. Hopefully, your Friday has gone very well to this point. And I apologize for not mentioning it in the last podcast, but we are watching the Brandon Ayuk potentially the Brandon Ayuk sweepstakes right now. The Browns, the Patriots, the Steelers evidently have all shown interest in in getting Ayuk, I guess, in one shape or another. I really don't know how the Browns would be able to pull this off. Really don't know. Not sure how they'd be able to do it. They are cap strapped. I know that. I do know they are absolutely cap strapped. So, because of that, I would say that probably will not work. But hey, maybe it does. I don't know. But it will be interesting to see how it all works out. We got most of the other holdouts taken care of. I don't believe there's any, honestly, really big ones that are in danger right now. I think Ayuk is the biggest one right now because I don't know what they're going to be able to do. I know the 49ers are strapped right now. They're looking ahead and they rather get rid of Deebo Samuel. I'm wondering if they're shopping him around or if they just legitimately can't with the dead cap hit. Many are saying that they can't because of dead cap. That may be true. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to confirm or deny. If they say it, maybe that's what it is. We've seen teams work around that problem before. So it'll be interesting to see. But as we head into your Friday evening, hopefully the work week went well for you. I trust, I know for me personally, the kids went back to school this week, actually on Wednesday. So life is getting back into that kind of clockwork style setup that we have for 9 months out of the year. And I mean, it is what it is, but getting back into the groove, getting back into the routine. So hopefully you, your family, and yourself had a fantastic week. Let's dive into the second half. We got two teams that many of us have watched epic battles over the last 2 decades take place between these two teams. They have become bitter rivals in the AFC North. The Baltimore Ravens and Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers showcase class, loyalty. They showcase what it means to be a classy organization. The Ravens, expansion team in 96, or 95, 96, have grown into an outstanding pillar of the National Football League. John Harbaugh as head coach, an ownership group that understands football. They lost their team, the Colts, in the middle of the night. They got their expansion team back, and they have built a beautiful franchise over the last close to 30 years. So let's dive into what these two premier teams in the NFL will be putting on the field. Let's just take a gander of what the depth charts look like. And we're going to start with the Baltimore Ravens. We're going to start out with Lamar Jackson. The backup is Josh Johnson, Devin Leary, the rookie QB, and Emory Jones, your four quarterbacks. Your running backs are Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell, and rookie Rasheem Ali from Marshall. Then we got wide receivers Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar. Backups are Russell Gage, Tylan Wallace, and DeMortez Walker. Your tight end is Mark Andrews, backed up by Isaiah Likely, Charlie Kohler, and Scotty Washington. Wide receiver is still a little bit weak. Now, I like Zay Flowers. Do not get me wrong. I really like Zay Flowers. Bateman is fast. Aguilar is also fast, but hands are questionable. I think Russell Gage is actually going to prove to be very handy because I think Bateman and Aguilar both missed time. So I think Russell Gage could be a sneaky play, especially for those of you who play fantasy. I think Russell Gage is somebody to keep your fantasy antennas up. For. Geez, got the hiccups. Hang on. Can't be having hiccups while trying to do a dang podcast. What the heck are you thinking? All right. Offensive line. I like the way the offensive line is built. Ronnie Staley is your left tackle. Josh Jones is the backup there. You got Andrew Voorhees with, oh my gosh, Lalu as his backup. I'm not even going to try to butcher the name. Not even, nope. Not even going to try it. The first name, let alone the second name, no. Your center is Tyler Lindenbaum, backed up by Nick Samak, or Samak. Daniel Feisel, backed up by Ben Cleveland. That's your right guards. And then you've got your right tackle, Patrick McCarry, backed up by Roger Rosengarten. Offensive line, I don't feel is very deep. Josh Jones is okay at the tackles, and honestly, he can play both. So I think if either of the tackles go out, Josh Jones automatically gets thrown in, whether it's the right or left. Ben Cleveland is probably the number one guard option, to be honest. Tyler Lindenbaum, I remember when they drafted him because they fell. I mean, he just fell to the first round through, and yeah, it was a fantastic pick and has once again worked out very well for them. In all honesty, I think receiver is kind of where, because of injuries, I think it's weak. The depth on the offensive line isn't horrible. I think they'd like to have one more guy that they know they could plug in, probably in the middle anywhere, center or guard. But the big acquisition being Derrick Henry, and I am really anxious to see if he has a Ricky Williams, Ronnie Brown-esque type impact when they start playing, especially with the winged eye, split eye, pistol sets that they do. Now, this defense is a 34. It has been for quite a while. One of my favorite defenses because they end up playing 1-5s, 2-4s, 2-3s, 1-4s, 1-2s. Like, this defense is just so versatile. So versatile. And they do such a good job with it. All right, their nose tackle. Let's start with the nose tackle. Michael Pierce is your nose tackle. Then you got Mr. Sennett, Deidrin Sennett, and Josh Tupou as your backups. Travis Jones, Brent Urban, CJ Ronell are your right ends. And then you got Broderick Washington backing up Justin Matabuke. I believe that's how you say it. Matabuke. Or Matabuke. Whatever it may be. But that is your defensive front three. Your linebackers, little bit different this year. Roquan Smith, stalwart. Looks like a fantastic trade they made. Kyle Van Noy, Trendon Simpson, Odafe Owe. Your backups are Chris Board, Malik Harrison, Tavius Robinson. Then you have backing up Kyle Van Noy, or sorry, not backing up Kyle Van Noy. Backing up Odafe, you've got David Ojabo. You got Josh Ross, Quincy Roche, which is a very, very good special teamer. So I think that's exactly why they're going to keep him around. Now your secondary is Marlon Humphrey, Kyle Hamilton, Marcus Williams, Brandon Stevens, Arthur Mollett. Now it's a good secondary. Your backups: Jalen Armour Davis, Eddie Jackson, Adarius Washington, Nate Wiggins, Demarius Williams. Honestly, they got some depth. Trayvon Mullen, TJ Tampa are also further down the depth chart right now at corner. Rookies. This is good. That secondary's got some depth. It's been hit before. The secondary has some depth. They got some depth at safety, depth at corner. I really like it. They don't have a lot of depth at linebacker. Linebacker could prove interesting, but then again, this is a team that we are used to seeing somebody just pick up the slack. No specific reason. They just can and they do. They come in and they do it. Makes perfect sense to me. Perfect sense to me. Your kicker, currently one of the best, if not the best, the NFL has ever had as far as leg strength and what he can do. Justin Tucker. Jordan Stout is their punter. So that's the Baltimore Ravens. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The question everybody asks is this the year that Mike Tomlin has a losing record finally? Listen, it's going to go off of whether or not the AFC ends up being like last year. Actually, forget the AFC. It will be if whether or not the NFL pulls a copycat from last year. You remember we had over 64 quarterbacks start. I think the grand total was 67, if I remember correctly. 67 different starting quarterbacks in an 18-game season for 32 teams. 67. The Pittsburgh Steelers got helped by that aspect. In their own division, Joe Burrow went down. Now Jake Browning did his job. Jake Browning, I thought potentially, if it was 2025, that performance would have gotten Jake Browning 10, 12 million a year potential chance at a starting slot. But with it being 2024, the class of quarterbacks was deep. It makes sense. All right. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, the big / not so big financially acquisition of Russell Wilson, and then the equally big, not so big transaction of getting Justin Fields. 2 new quarterbacks sitting right there. Kyle Allen is the third string back. Your running backs, this is where it gets interesting. You've got Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, Cordero Patterson, and LaMichael Pirine. Cordero Patterson, I believe, is 1,000% for kickoff returns. 1,000% off 1,000% for kickoff returns. Now, if one of the 2 backs in front of him gets injured, he is definitely a good second pace back. He's the change of pace back. He can run routes better. He's going to be great out of the backfield if that ends up happening. I believe there's going to be a lot of dump-off passes for the Steelers, and this is why. George Pickens, fantastic receiver. Fantastic receiver. Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin III, Roman Wilson, we'll see. Quez Watkins, no. Des Fitzpatrick, I don't think so. You don't have a lot to throw to. It's just the reality. You don't have a lot. Could they surprise us? Absolutely. Do I expect it? Not a chance. Not really. Their tight ends are good. Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Connor Hayward. Very good at the tight end position. Now, offensive line. It's been a problem for a while. And unfortunately, it could change. It could change. I know there's a lot of people that are trying to be confident. Left tackle is Dan Moore. Left guard, Isaac Samulo. Center is Nate Hebig. Right guard, James Daniels. Right tackle, Broderick Jones. Not bad. The right side, I think, has more potential than the left side. Troy Fontenot, Spencer Anderson, Zach Frazier, Mason McCormick, Dylan Cook. Those are your backups right now. When you go to the defense, once again, 34. Larry Ajunobi with Dean Lowry and Logan Lee backing him up. Nose tackle, Keanu Benton with Montavious Adams and Breeden Fetko as his backup. Cameron Hayward, DeMarvin Leal, Isaiah Loudermilk are the right ends. Your linebackers, TJ Watt, hands down fantastic. Jeremiah Moon backing him up. Kyron Johnson, the third string. Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson, Mark Robinson, Alandon Roberts, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig, Jacoby Windman backing him up. And then we go to the secondary. Dante Jackson, the corner they got from the Panthers. Corey Trice Jr. Then you got safety, Deshaun Elliott with DeMonte Casey. Minka Fitzpatrick, Miles Kilbrew, Joey Porter Jr., Darius Rush. Then you have your nickelback, Beanie Bishop Jr. with Grayland Arnold as the backup there. Cameron Sutton is also on this team but is suspended right now. So not actually with the team. You have two kickers right now, Matthew Wright, Chris Boswell, and then the punter, Cameron Johnson. All in all, not bad. Not bad at all. I like the way the teams look. Pittsburgh and Baltimore always have a dark horse ending up making an impact for the team. Reality is, when an organization is well run from the top down, gems, diamonds in the rough are easily found for organizations that are buttoned up and classy like these two. I love classy organizations. I do. My closing thought: it pays to be professional. I am so tired of hearing the good guys always lose. It pays to be bad. Take what you need because nobody's going to give you what you deserve. That's not true everywhere. You know, there's two things about the Colts and Patriots rivalry of the early 2000s, of the 2000s. There's something about that rivalry that isn't talked about. Which organization was more respected? Winning comes in a bunch of different forms. For the Indianapolis Colts, the difference between Jim Mora and Tony Dungy was so vast, people could tell on and off the field. Jim Mora went 13-3 with Peyton. He also went 3-13 and 6-10. It wasn't about necessarily the players that were there. It's about the coach. And the coach, I mean, the way that it is, you can win in multiple ways. You gain respect. That's winning. When you gain the respect of your peers and your competitors, you won. That's something that the Detroit Lions are doing now. That's something the Cincinnati Bengals lost and are now rebuilding. I remember when it was called Thug Cincinnati. I get it. Marvin Lewis was willing to bring those men in and try to help them. I equally respect what he tried to do. Try to help the men. Try to turn them into men. Fully respect him for it. And fully support him. You don't have to win a championship to really win. Doing what's right helps you win because when you do what's right, people that matter actually see. Trolls don't matter. It's one of the best lines I try to tell kids. Trolls don't matter. At the end of the day, what they say doesn't mean anything if it's not true. Now, if it's true, it's different, obviously, but then it's not troll. Trolls are people that just spout out, spew at the mouth. That's it. Baltimore Ravens and Pittsburgh Steelers have won the respect of the NFL. That in and of itself is priceless. They won something. For you, don't know what you're going through. In sports, you get knocked down, you got to get up. At work, you got to do the same thing. In sports, winning isn't only winning. You win in a variety of ways, and it's the same in life. So from me to you, as we close out this podcast, I wish you the best of luck in winning in your life. Whatever that looks like, it looks different for everybody. Whatever that looks like and whatever it is, may you be a winner. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the algorithm as I am trying to grow the channel. And ring the notification bell so that you get notified when a new podcast goes live. Have a fantastic weekend. I look forward to next week as we dive into the AFC and the NFC South. Until next time, this has been Hawk with Sports Talk with Hawk, and I'm out.